Please be seated. Good afternoon, everyone. Candidates, faculty, staff, family, and friends. My name is Jason Abbott. I'm the Interim Dean of the Graduate School, and I'm pleased to welcome you to the 2026 Miami University Doctoral Hooding Ceremony and Graduation. Today's a very special day for the graduates being honored and recognized. This marks the end of a long journey and the beginning of a new chapter. We're pleased to have many friends and family with us here on campus to celebrate, and many others joining us via the live stream. The doctoral degree is the highest academic degree offered, so because of this is so special, we're proud to offer a special ceremony in the summer for doctoral graduates each year. I'm glad you're able to join us. I'd like to introduce our platform party. Joining me today are Dr. Gregory Crawford, 22nd President of Miami University. Dr. Renata Crawford, Miami University's Ambassador and Adjunct Professor of Physics. Dr. Trent Gould, Provost and Chief Academic Officer. Dr. Amity Noltemeyer, Dean of the College of Education and Society. Dr. Renee Berenstein, Dean, College of Arts and Sciences. And Dr. Dave Johnson, Senior Vice President of Mission at St. Elizabeth Healthcare and this year's Alumni Speaker. In addition to the platform party, we're being assisted today by Dr. Cindy Klesenek, Associate Dean of the Graduate School, Dr. Cheryl Sellers, Associate Dean of the College of Education, Health and Society, Megan Davison, Assistant to the Dean and Manager of Graduate Student Services, Sarah Carnes, Graduate School Administrative Assistant, and Paul Detloff, Graduate Assistant. It's now my pleasure to invite Dr. Trent Gould, Provost and Chief Academic Officer, to the podium to address our graduates.
Good afternoon. Thank you. On behalf of President Crawford, the Board of Trustees, our faculty, and the entire Miami University community, welcome to our doctoral hooding ceremony. To our graduates, congratulations. To your families, friends, mentors, and loved ones, thank you for being here and for sharing in this remarkable occasion. Today is every bit as much a celebration of your support and encouragement as it is of the accomplishments of our graduates. Although I am still new to Miami University, I've already learned something very important about this institution. Miami is defined by the quality of its people, and I've met students whose curiosity and determination would stand out anywhere, and faculty who do not simply teach them, but walk alongside them, challenging them, believing in them, and refusing to let them settle for anything other than their best. That combination is rare and is very much alive here at Miami University. This ceremony in particular, it feels wonderfully familiar to me. During my years as a dean, I had the privilege of attending many doctoral hooding ceremonies. Every one of them reminded me of why this is one of my favorite academic traditions. It celebrates something that cannot be rushed, borrowed, or inherited. A doctorate is earned through years of curiosity, persistence, sacrifice, and resilience. Most people see the dissertation, the defense, and the diploma. They do not see the early mornings. Hello? They do not see the early mornings, the late nights, the research that did not work, the countless revisions, or the moments when you quietly wondered whether you would ever reach this day. But yet here you are. One of the greatest privileges of my career in higher education is watching students become colleagues. I was reminded of that recently when thinking about one of my former doctoral students. Her name was Nadine. Like many doctoral students, she arrived with tremendous talent, endless curiosity, and far more research ideas than any one dissertation could contain. Our role as mentors was not to tell her which path to take, but to give her confidence to pursue the questions she believed mattered most. Today, she leads innovation for Wilson, one of the world's premier sporting goods companies, and led the team that developed the world's first 3D printed airless basketball. It's an extraordinary accomplishment, but that's not what makes me most proud. It's not about that product. It's about watching a former student become an independent scholar, an innovator, and now a mentor to others. As faculty, there are few joys greater than watching the student become the colleague. And graduate school has a way of becoming everyone's project. At some point, nearly every doctoral student hears the question, so how's the dissertation coming? It is remarkable how one simple question can bring an otherwise likely conversation to a complete stop. Fortunately, today we've reached the happy ending. In just a few moments, your faculty mentor will place the doctoral hood over your shoulders. It's a tradition that has endured for centuries. Your mentor was once hooded by someone who believed in them, just as they now stand beside you. In that moment, you are welcomed not simply as a graduate, but as a colleague. You join a community of scholars committed to preserving and discovering and sharing knowledge. Today, you receive a title you've earned through an extraordinary effort. But I hope that every time someone calls you doctor, you hear more than the recognition of the work you've completed. I hope you hear a reminder of the responsibility that accompanies that title. Keep asking difficult questions. Keep learning. Use your knowledge in service of others. Knowledge has its greatest value when it improves the lives of other people. Whether your future is in higher education, healthcare, business, government, industry, or perhaps a profession we cannot even yet imagine, your education has prepared you not only to help solve problems, but to help others see possibilities they might otherwise miss. As you celebrate today, I also hope you remember those who helped you arrive here. Your mentors challenged you because they believed in your potential. Your families, friends, and colleagues invested in you long before this day arrived. And one of the greatest ways you can honor that investment is by making the same investment in someone else. Be generous with your knowledge, be patient with those who are still learning, and become the mentor whose influence extends far beyond your own accomplishments. The world certainly needs brilliant scholars, but it also needs scholars who are generous, humble, collaborative, and committed to improving the lives of others. Graduates, today marks the completion of one important journey, but more importantly, it marks the beginning of another. May you always be curious enough to ask the next question, courageous enough to pursue the answer, and generous enough to share what you discover. Love and honor, congratulations to you all graduates. It is now my pleasure to invite Dr. Renata Crawford to the podium to introduce our alumni speaker for today's ceremony.
Congratulations to the doctoral class of 2026. This is a day full of pride for you, your family, your friends, and for us. You have added to the knowledge and scholarship at Miami and thereby are leaving your legacy. Thank you for your commitment and dedication. I am now pleased to introduce a distinguished Miami Graduate School alumnus and our engagement speaker, Dr. Dave Johnson. Dr. Johnson serves as the Senior Vice President of Mission at St. Elizabeth Healthcare, our healthcare system serving communities across northern Kentucky and southeast Indiana. In his role, he is responsible for efforts that bring St. Elizabeth's mission to life across its 6 hospitals and 170 primary care and specialty offices. His work focuses on 3 deeply connected dimensions of Catholic healthcare: nurturing a culture of purpose and belonging for associates and providers, advancing health equity through internal and community partnerships, and ensuring spiritual care for patients, families, and staff. Across these efforts, Dr. Johnson's work is grounded in a commitment to the whole person care, body, mind, and spirit, and to communities where people can find connection, meaning, resilience, and hope. Before joining St. Elizabeth, Dr. Johnson spent 19 years in higher education. In his final post, he served as the Chief Student Affairs Officer at Xavier University in Cincinnati. Prior to that, he spent 5 years working for a humanitarian and economic development organization based in El Salvador. Born in Green Bay, and still proud to say, "Go Pack," Dr. Johnson has also called Minnesota, Belize, El Salvador, Washington, D.C., Boston, Ohio, and Kentucky home. He and his wife, Megan, have 2 wonderful children, Ben and Eva. He earned his PhD from Miami's University Sahi program, a master's degree in social ethics from Boston College, and a bachelor degree in peace studies from St. John's University in Minnesota. As each of you prepare to take the next step in your professional and personal journey, I hope you find inspiration in Dr. Johnson's story, a story of exploration, the pursuit of purpose, and a lifelong impact of a Miami education. It is now my great honor to welcome back to Miami University, Dr. Dave Johnson.
Well, now that you're warmed up, good afternoon. It is indeed a good afternoon, and it is so good to be with such good people on such a good occasion at such a good place. I believe in the credo, make the most important thing the most important thing, and the most important thing today is to say, congratulations, you did it. You did the work, you persevered, you researched, you revised and refined, you endured long nights, competing responsibilities, and the strange combination of isolation and community that graduate work requires. You had your purpose, and you pursued it. You had your people, and they had you. You climbed a big hill, and today, here you are at the finish line. Soak it in, you have earned this moment. And because you're at a finish line today, I want to share a brief story about another finish line. When I was a master's student at Boston College, my favorite library stood a stone's throw away from the peak of the Boston Marathon's most notorious hill, Heartbreak Hill. And every marathon, I would study until the elite runners approached, and then I would dash outside, and I would watch them as they glided up and over the hill. Their movements were elegant and efficient. They were, in a word, graceful. And then I'd return to studying. And hours later, I would go back outside, and I would watch the last of the runners. And every step for them was painful. They scratched and they clawed their way to the crest, one step at a time. They were, in a word, gritty. They were 2 very different groups, but they're both beautiful. And what united them, and this is the most important thing, was that each had a bold and worthy goal, and that each was doggedly committed to pursuing it. Each of you in this room has proven that you can run. The challenge ahead of you is not to keep running. The challenge is to decide which races are worthy of your hard work. That requires purpose, and not a purpose that you write once, put in a frame, and put on a wall, but a purpose you keep discovering, testing, and refining over a lifetime. Purpose matters because it helps us choose what hills to climb. So with gratitude for this finish line, I would like to offer 3 invitations for the road ahead. Keep exploring, align your head, heart, and gut, and never run alone. First, keep exploring. So in 2012, I was directing our Center for Faith and Justice at Xavier University when one day a colleague asked me, hey Dave, would you ever want to be the vice president of student affairs? And my answer was immediate and it was definitive. No, nope, definitely not. Well, wouldn't you know, 1 week later, the provost walked in my office after having just relieved my boss of her duties and said, Dave, I need you to serve as the interim vice president of student affairs. My first thought was, this is a terrible idea. Really terrible. But after 10 years in the role, I thought differently. So taking the job elevated the trajectory of my career, but much more importantly, it changed how I understood myself. Before that, I thought of myself mostly as an educator, someone who helped to launch people into the world to make a difference. And through that job, I learned that I was called to help launch people into the world to make a difference, but also to help build the organizations that do the launching. Years afterward, I asked the provost, why'd you choose me? And he said, because you kept showing up all across campus. One day you might be with international students having lunch, another day with a college dean, and another day I would see you at a committee meeting that had nothing obvious to do with your job. You knew people, you were curious, and you were getting a sense of how the place worked. And what was clear to me was that you enjoyed all of it. He saw in me something I hadn't seen in myself. Growth often comes in ways we cannot predict, and sometimes it arises disguised as disruption, distraction, or simply extra work. But when we say yes to a worthy, unexpected invitation, those invitations can very often help us discover, refine, and pursue our purpose. My second invitation is this: align your head, your heart, and your gut. So one occupational hazard of earning an advanced degree is that we get very good at thinking from our shoulders up. We research, we compare, we debate, and all of those things can be useful. But the most important decisions in life often require more than analysis. In my mid-20s, I had what felt like my dream job. I was coaching collegiate soccer, and I was facilitating community-based learning programs at my alma mater. It was great. And then I was offered a job in El Salvador. It would pay $400 a month. It would take me, yet again, far away from my family, and there was no clear career path associated with it. And I couldn't let it go. So I did all the things. I made the lists. I sought advice. I weighed the options. For weeks, I thought, and I thought, and I thought. And finally, facing a morning deadline, I started walking loops around the campus where I lived and worked, past the lake, around the quad, to the chapel, and back again. And at 5 a.m., undecided, I did the logical thing. I wrote my would-be boss in El Salvador and said, thank you, but no. And then I went to bed. And several hours later, I woke up, startled. And I knew at once that I had made a mistake. So I wrote back and I said, please, forget that last email. I want the job. And that yes set me on a path of work rooted in solidarity and justice and in the belief that communities can change lives. In the years since, I have learned, occasionally forgotten, and repeatedly relearned an important lesson. Good decisions require more than information and computing power. Good decisions ask something of your head and your heart and your gut all at once. They require us to think and to listen and to orchestrate. Your studies have sharpened your intellect. That is a gift. But do not let your intellect be the only instrument of your discernment. There will be moments when the spreadsheet is inconclusive, and there will be opportunities that are hard to explain but that should not be ignored. And when that happens, do not abandon your intellect, but be sure to employ your heart and your gut as well. And finally, remember, no one runs alone. When I think back to the Boston Marathon, I remember the runners, but I also remember the crowds. I remember the parents with their posters and the kids with their pom-poms and the gaggles of friends and the strangers who cheered for the runners as if they were family. And that was just the day of the race. Think of all the people who helped the runners prepare. the friends who trained with them, the family members who adjusted schedules, the people who encouraged them when the goal felt too far away, and the ones who believed them when the finish line was far from in sight. No one prepares for, no one runs, and no one finishes a marathon all on their own. And neither does anyone do anything of any real consequence on their own. The most meaningful work any of us will do depends on people whose talents are different than ours, and often greater than ours. And the best work is a shared effort that leads to shared celebrations. But now let's return to this finish line, your finish line. Here you are with your family and your friends and your mentors and your advisors and your fellow runners. And they may not be holding posters and pom-poms, but they are rightly full of pride and awe and love for all you have accomplished. And I'm grateful to be a part of this moment at a place that meant so much to me in shaping my purpose. So let me end where I started. Congratulations, you did it. This is your moment. Now, go climb something worth climbing.
Dr. Johnson, thank you for an incredible speech and the words of wisdom. We're extremely proud of you as an alumnus, and we really appreciate you being here today. And now we're ready for the main event. You may have noticed our dress as we entered. The academic costume is as old as universities are. The gown for the doctoral degree has bell-shaped sleeves, faced down the front with velvet, and has 3 velvet crossbars on each sleeve. In the United States, the hood is edged with velvet in a color representing the type of degree received, and is lined in silk with the colors of the university. The hoods we'll present today are edged in dark blue for the Doctor of Philosophy, or light blue for the Doctor of Education, and aligned, of course, in Miami red and white. In today's ceremony, each graduate will be presented by their doctoral hood from either their doctoral advisor or a faculty member who is important in their journey to this point. So, without further ado, I now have the pleasure of presenting the candidates for the doctoral degree. Will the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy and for the Doctor of Education degrees please stand as you are able and be recognized. It is my distinct honor to present these candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy and Doctor of Education degree. This degree culminates a minimum of 4 years, and often many more years, of study and research beyond the baccalaureate. After the completion of formal coursework, the candidate must pass comprehensive written and oral exams in the field of study, and then write and defend a dissertation that makes an original scholarly contribution to the discipline. Each of these candidates has completed all of these requirements for their degree, and I present these future scholars and leaders to you with pride. One last round of applause. And you all may be seated for just a moment. All attendees, advisors, and doctoral students will remain seated until the student's name is called. When called, the doctoral student and advisor will proceed to the platform for individual hooding. After hooding, each student will proceed along the outside aisle to the designated location to get their picture taken and before returning to their seat. For all of us, please avoid using the center aisle during this portion of the ceremony so our photo and video team can capture this important memory for you. So, we're ready for the main event. For the recipients of the Doctor of Education degree. Alundra Nicole Childs, EDD in Educational Leadership, Advisor and Hooding Professor, Dr. Erica Fernandez. Next is Heather Maria Couch, EDD in Educational Leadership, Advisor and Hooding Professor Samantha Paredes Scribner. Rebecca Huber, EDD in Educational Leadership, Advisor and Hooding Professor, Samantha Paredes Scribner. Malika Huey, EDD in Educational Leadership, Advisor and Hooding Professor, Dr. Kathleen Knight Abowitz. Jessica Rianne Hunter, EDD in Educational Leadership, Advising and Hooding Professor, Dr. Kathleen Knight Abowitz. Sean C. Martin, EDD in Educational Leadership, Advisor, Dr. Joel Moline, Hooding Professor, Dr. Guy Parmesan. And now for the recipients of the Doctor of Philosophy degree. Nicole Maureen Baumgartner, PhD in Psychology, Advising and Hooding Professor, Dr. Elizabeth Keel. Asad Ikemba, PhD in Educational Leadership, Advisor and Hooding Professor, Dr. Thomas Petter. Nimarsha Kamarduela Arachige, PhD in Chemistry, Advising and Hooding Professor, Dr. Carol Dabney Smith. Elizabeth Ray Kerr, PhD in Educational Leadership, Advisor and Hooding Professor, Dr. Joel Moline. Eunice Lallier, PhD in Educational Leadership, Advisor and Hooding Professor, Dr. Joel Moline. Abiola Lawal, PhD in Psychology, Advising and Hooding Professor, Dr. Yvette Harris. Melisha Marakala Monagji, PhD in Chemistry, Advisor and Hooding Professor, Dr. Rick Page. Rochelle P. Pereira, PhD in microbiology, advisor and Hooding professor, Dr. Rachel Morgan Kiss. Devin Popson, PhD in microbiology, advisor and Hooding professor, Dr. Rachel Morgan Kiss. Suraj Rajashekar, PhD in cell molecular and structural biology, advisor and Hooding professor, Dr. Karthik Vishwanath. Chimoni Rajawasam, PhD in chemistry, advisor and Hooding professors, Dr. Dominic Konkolowitz and Dr. C. Scott Hartley. Erica Rosenberger, PhD in psychology, advisor and Hooding professor, Dr. Heather Claypool. Jordan Ruben McGregor, PhD in psychology, advisor, Dr. Allison Farrell, Hooding professor, Dr. Monica Schneider. Tierra Smith, PhD in educational leadership, advisor, Dr. Erica Fernandez, Hooding professors, Dr. Erica Fernandez and Dr. Lisa Weems. Philip Michael Thomas, PhD in educational leadership, advisor, Dr. Thomas Petter, Hooding professor, Dr. Erica Campbell. Dustin C. Weber, PhD in chemistry, advisor and Hooding professor, Dr. Corey Ruzinek. Sachini Weerasinghe, PhD in chemistry, advisor and Hooding professor, Dr. Dominic Konkolowitz. Samantha B. Wick, PhD in psychology, advisor and Hooding professor, Dr. Aaron Luby. Seth Morris Walensky, PhD in psychology, advisor and Hooding professor, Dr. Terry Messman. That concludes our list of graduates. Let's have one last round of applause for all of the graduates. I wasn't sure that was going to end. I now invite President Crawford to the podium for the conferral of degrees.
Thank you. Well, congratulations, graduates. Are you ready to formally wrap this up? Okay, that was enthusiastic. Would the graduates please rise if you're able? Why don't we do this? Why don't you come out a little bit and turn towards the crowd? Turn towards your family members and okay. Are you ready? By the power vested in me by the state of Ohio, the Board of Trustees of Miami University, and the faculty of Miami University, I confer upon you the doctorate degrees that you so richly deserved. Congratulations, graduates. And for all those that could not make it today, I confer their degrees in absentia. Congratulations, graduates.
We've now reached the conclusion of the 2026 doctoral hooding and graduation ceremony. I want to thank the graduate school staff and Miami staff for organizing and producing this event, and extend my gratitude to the faculty mentors and the family members who have supported these graduates all along the way. I especially want to congratulate the graduates themselves for their hard work and perseverance. You hold in your hands your actual diploma. It's got your name on it and everything. Earning that degree is remarkably difficult. Less than 1% of the global population achieves this milestone, making each of you a member of an honored community. We share a responsibility to contribute to the betterment of society and the world we inhabit, and we are proud that your desire to do so brought you to Miami University. You are the next generation of scholars and leaders in science, education, social sciences, and the humanities. The world needs your talent, work ethic, and intelligence to tackle the many challenges around us, and we look forward to hearing about the great things you will do. So congratulations and love and honor to you all. In just a moment, we'll proceed with the recessional. The platform party will recess first, followed by the faculty and the graduates. But to conclude this ceremony, please stand as you are able for the Miami University alma mater.